Shalom and greetings, and welcome back to another episode here at Israelite Talk TV, where you get the raw, the real, and the unadulterated truth 24/7. Now, in today's session, family, I'm going to be dealing with the statements that Donald Trump stated during his, I don't know, his campaign speech, or however you want to classify it. We know that he's running for re-election again this year, but he made a statement concerning pushing to get the death penalty for drug dealers. Now, I'm going to be breaking down the science behind that and why he stated that, okay? And how these things can also be a benefit and a help to our communities. If this is to happen, if he's reelected and, you know, all of this stuff go through. The other thing that I want to talk about is Rambo, the hitman up there in Idaho, who gutted 4 college students, okay? 4 college students, okay? And he's at large right now. They don't know who the killer is. They're having a hard time tracking them down right now. So I'm going to be touching on that case because it's some things that we can learn from that particular case that would help our children in the future as they're being sent off to college and, you know, these places where there's really not a whole lot of supervision from parents. Okay. So I'm going to touch on all of that in this lesson. But now, real quick, before I get into the lesson, as always, I need you guys to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so that when anything drop, it hit your inbox, you know, because, you know, the tube is playing games or whatnot, you know what I mean, where they want you to do double work. So make sure you guys turn on all notifications and share this with all the lights out there that you know, because they're going to want to hear this. Now, let's get into it. The first thing that I want to say before I kind of get into this is I want to apologize for mispronouncing the sister that died out there in Mexico, Shaquilla. Okay, and I hope that I'm pronouncing it properly this time. But the subscribers, well, I don't know if they were subscribers, but some of the people down in the comment section crucified me in the last video, and it's okay, you know what I'm saying? Because I can take it as good as I give it, you know, and I'll be the first one to come out here and admit where I make a mistake and correct that. But yeah, you know, so I just wanted to straighten that up. But I want brothers and sisters to understand that, you know, we all make mistakes at different times, and let's not let things like that overshadow what's actually going on and trying to get justice for our sister that got done bad out there in Mexico, you know. And we're still trying to find out what's going on. Okay, so nobody knows exactly what happened. There's a lot of speculation on all these different platforms, you know. So just because you like one particular speculation over the other speculation, at the end of the day, it's still all speculation until we actually find out what happened and what was the motive behind it. Now, let's get into it. Now, Donald Trump made a statement, said he's going to seek the death penalty if he's reelected for drug dealers and stuff like that. Okay. Now, the question that we have to ask ourselves is, why is Donald Trump coming out and saying that he's going to seek the death penalty if he's reelected? Okay. Well, it's a very simple thing, right? When you actually start to do your homework, right? Okay. And I will leave these links down in the description box, right? So I'm on a website, right, titled kff.org. And basically what it's showing is the time frame of drug overdoses, right? And so when you look in the United States, right, in 2020, right, what it helps us to understand is that when you look at white non-Hispanics, they're leading in that category of overdoses, okay? It shows that the white non-Hispanic United States is at like 47,000 deaths. But when you look at the black non-Hispanics, okay, the death toll is nothing but 11,000. Okay. And so this is why he's coming out, because when you start to study the stats on a lot of these different websites from the government, one of the things that you're going to notice is that Europeans are leading in drug overdoses. Okay. And so I find it ironic that I don't know if a lot of you guys are really familiar with the Rick Ross case, the guy from California who was caught up, with in the drug case. And I don't want to go too far into the case because I just want to point something out that's pertaining to that case that I want to focus on, not so much the whole case in itself. But when we look at that particular case, one of the things that we know, or I'm not going to say what we know, but what's been told to us allegedly, is that Rick Ross was buying allegedly drugs from CIA agents or whatever the case may be, right? And so the story goes something like this, where there was these drug kingpins down in South America that needed money, I guess, to wage this war or whatever the case may be. And so from my understanding, this is all alleged, you know what I'm saying? Basically, the government basically said, okay, we're going to give you the money to fight this war, and we're going to allow you to sell the drugs to make money to fight this war. And all this is allegedly. And we're going to move these drugs, and we're going to let you sell these drugs in black communities. Okay. It's just basically what I got from what I read. Okay. And so we can see going back into the 80s and early 90s that it was a war on our people. You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny how, you know what I'm saying, these Israelite communities are being targeted. But then when it starts to affect white communities, then it's a problem. It's like, man, we gotta get the death penalty out here. Anybody selling this stuff, this fentanyl, this da-da-da-da-da, they need the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? But it was all cool when our people were getting hit with it, And so, we got hit with it, and we took it, we smiled, and we just kept on ticking. So my thing is this is why he's coming out and he's saying this, because when you start to look at the stats, we can see who's leading in overdoses. Okay. So what they have allegedly unleashed or attempted to unleash on the black communities is now affecting white communities. Okay. White people. Okay. So, yeah, this is going to be real interesting. So now moving right along, right? There's this situation that was kind of overshadowed by the shooting up there in Virginia where the young brother, the young Israelite, shot and killed 3 other Israelites. And I haven't reported on that case, but I'm waiting until I actually hear the evidence on what the motive was so that we can kind of speak on it. But we know that there was 3 other college students that was killed and other ones that was shot. And I think I don't know if that was today, or could have been yesterday, but one of the guys, I believe the quarterback who got shot in the back, he got released out of the hospital today. And I'm kind of waiting before I actually hear what the motive was. I've been hearing that the boy was getting bullied or whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to wait until we hear what the motive is to come out and address that. But at any rate, that shooting and the things that's going on up here in Colorado with this shooting up here at this gay nightclub has really overshadowed what's going on up here in Idaho. Now, up here in Idaho, there's and I'm going to put the victims, I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can see them. But there was 4 college kids. Okay, now these are Europeans. Okay, where allegedly the story goes something like this. They were at, I don't know if this was a dorm room or, whatever the case may be, where they were staying at. It was 4 of them in this, I want to say it was this campus house or whatever the case may be. And they have the two of the women were young girls was on like camera at some spot that they go and get food from, late at night. I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. They were going to get something to eat. And then they went back to this apartment, okay, where the next morning they got a call that somebody called 911 and basically, called the case in. And so basically when the police came in, they saw that there was 4 college kids, 3 women, and a guy who got gutted like Rambo with this knife. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because The whole town is in shock. Nobody knows what's going on, who did what, nothing. It's been stated that that apartment that they were in was, I don't know if it was a party house or a party or whatever the case may be, but they were making it seem like there was many people who had access to those apartments. Okay. Now, why am I telling you about this? Okay. Because we know that these are not Israelites, but there's a lesson that we can learn from this particular situation. Now, this guy, whoever this guy was, had to be skillful in what he's doing, because it was 4 people that was in his house that he gutted, including a young male, which leads me to believe that this guy was trained, because in order to get this guy, he either, number one, they either had to be drugged, because I mean, think about this, man. You cut up 4 different people. That ain't like you shoot somebody or you blicking them down and then they get hit and it's like, it's over with. You got to think, when you getting hit with that knife, when you get hit with that hawk, you got to understand that that's a whole totally different death. You got to understand people would have been screaming and all type of stuff, So it's crazy that nobody heard anything or know anything, which they could have been. I don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other, but more information is going to come out on this case. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because we send our children to college, right? And so what happens is that the parents of today are not teaching their children the things that they really need that's going to help them get up the road, okay? Especially when dealing with people. I remember as a child when I was growing up, my mama would teach us, you don't take candy or nothing from strangers. You don't get in the car with strangers. If you out and you at clubs or wherever you at and you drinking, if you somewhere drinking and you get up and you leave that drink and you lose sight of that drink, you leave that drink where it's at. You don't go back and drink no drink that's been sitting here after you done walked off and did all of this stuff unless somebody is watching your drink or somebody has your drink. Where you might tell one of your guys or, one of your girls, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, watch my drink or whatever the case may be. So they're not using these different precautions when they go to college. They think everything is just fun and games. And I'm going to be doing an expose on this college lifestyle, because our parents are, number one, are not really raising our children. Okay. Most of the time, these kids are growing up through daycare. Okay. And then once these children grow up through daycare, they send them off to college. Okay. And so once these kids get out here to college, some of these children have not been trained on how they ought to be conducting themselves, how they ought to be carrying themselves. It's the same thing up here. If allegedly what happened down here in Virginia, where these guys were provoking this brother that shot the 3 guys down there and killed them. If that is the case, okay, and I don't know that 100% to be the case, this is what I'm hearing, okay, then that right there in itself is a problem, because why are we going to a place of learning, but then we're creating conflict and frictions with people, especially people that are our people. These are our people. Okay. This is family. You see what I'm saying? So there's no reason why we should be going to these type of places and provoking people or not even paying attention to the stuff that you're doing. So I'm going to be doing, like I said, a message on that, because it's important to understand the witchcraft and sorcery that's associated with these colleges. Okay. When you hear the Kappas and all of these different sororities or whatever it is that they are part of in college, you have to understand that all of that stuff is tied into demonology. Okay, the false gods and the false goddesses of ancient Greek. Okay, so I'm going to be going more into that to show you guys what you are subjecting your children to when you send them into these places. Okay. So I don't want to be long-winded this evening. I just wanted to touch on these 2 particular cases, but make sure that you guys are, number one, watching over your children, and make sure if you have children that's going to college, make sure you sit down with them and you instruct them on the way they ought to be conducting themselves, in college. Okay, because you don't want this. You don't want to be out here lackadaisy or however they say it, and then you out hanging out, not paying attention to what you got going on, and then you have some stuff like this going on where you got people that's stalking you. and you not knowing, you just thinking you in college and everything good. And then before you know it, you picked off like these 4 college kids that just got gutted up here in Idaho. And the killer is still at large. Okay. And it just sounds like they don't have any leads. Then they had, from what I'm understanding, they had friends that was there and they left for something, or I don't know. They knew about it, but they didn't call till the next day. So it's a lot of confusion that's going on with this particular case. I'm pretty sure over the next weeks and months that there's going to be information coming out on that case, because you better know and understand. Unlike the Israelite communities here in this nation, those Europeans are cooperating. And they're going to find that killer. You just watch and pay attention to what I'm explaining to you. I'm going to be coming back to you guys with an update. So you guys stay safe out there. I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Shalom.